But the real fun is pulling one out of your head and seeing it, come to life. And then someone comes along and buys it and breaks your heart when it leaves.
After the conclusion of Counting Cars, people believed that Danny Koker had ended his career, at the same time that he was facing a lawsuit worth $2.7 million and his marriage was breaking apart. He had lost 35 pounds due to stress. However, in the year 2024, the count surprised everyone. His previous show was bringing in $15 million annually, but his new business has already doubled that amount in just a few short months. The actual surprise, however, had nothing to do with automobiles at all. The untold narrative of how Danny Koker rebuilt his empire and the reasons why some admirers claim he is unrecognizable is going to be one of the topics that we will discuss today. Danny Koker was born in Cleveland, Ohio on January 5, 1964, during the year 1964. Cars were the center of his family's world, as a result of the fact that his father, Danny Koker Sr., was an executive at Ford. Automobiles and motorbike were always a significant part of Danny's life from the very beginning. Everyone in his family, including his uncles, cousins, and acquaintances of the family, had some sort of connection to the automotive sector. On the other hand, there was something more that set his family apart from others. Not only did his father have a passion for automobiles, in addition to his musical abilities, he was a gifted musician who sang and played the keyboard for the Cathedral Quartet, a well-known Southern gospel group. In ways that no one could have predicted, Danny was molded by the combination of music and automobiles. Even though he was just 11 years old at the time, he was already performing on stage at Carnegie Hall, using his musical talent to demonstrate his abilities. To celebrate Danny's 8th birthday, his father presented him with a motorcycle. This was not merely a present, it marked the beginning of a significant event. This time, rather than simply riding it, Danny disassembled it into its component parts. Afterward, he reassembled it in its original form. It was at that moment that he realized how much he enjoyed figuring out how things functioned properly. Beginning that point forward, he devoted his time to working on automobiles and bicycles, disassembling them, repairing them, and improving them in some way. By the time he was a teenager, he was already assisting his father with various automotive projects, and he was learning everything by doing it himself. Danny lapped up everything that his father brought home from Ford, including handbooks and parts for automobiles. He had no formal training. All he had was a lot of practice and a healthy dose of curiosity. It wasn't until he was 16 years old that he started making engines faster and automobiles cooler. One of the most significant early projects he worked on was his first automobile, a 1979 Camaro Z28. The majority of children would have preserved it in its current state, but Danny did not. He modified it so that it could be driven on public roads. Although it was a really difficult task, he was able to figure it out. Even though he had no official training, he demonstrated to everyone that he was capable of handling challenging undertakings by the age of 18. He had just started his great journey, and this was just the beginning. Danny, in the year 1990, experimented with something altogether new. He went on to become a host on television. On a late-night horror movie presentation dubbed Saturday Fright at the Movies, he performed the role of Count Cool Rider, among other characters. His introduction of corny horror films was something that people in Las Vegas looked forward to watching every Saturday. He contributed his own personality to the show by dressing up like a vampire, wearing sunglasses and a cape, and adding his own sense of comedy. Just like Danny, his persona had a passion for Elvis Presley, motorcycles, and old automobiles. His grandparents, who were originally from Yugoslavia, were the source of his humorous accent, which he used when telling jokes. The talk program was not solely focused on the film. Danny made it more enjoyable by incorporating his passion for music and automobiles. Despite the fact that the show was cancelled in 2001, his nickname, The Count, continued to be popular among viewers. There was more to Danny than that. In 1998, he decided to capitalize on his passion for automobiles by opening a modest store in Las Vegas that was known as Count's Customs. A reference to his television character inspired the name of the company, which specialized in the customization of motorcycles. Danny possessed his signature look. He was not limited to repairing automobiles and bicycles. He transformed them into something truly remarkable. His 1932 Ford Roadster was one of the first significant projects he worked on. People were aware that Count's Customs was unique the moment they laid eyes on it. As word quickly spread, the shop began to see an increase in the number of clients. In 2002, Danny relocated to a larger location in order to take care of all the tasks. After beginning with bikes, he moved on to old vehicles and even began producing parts that were made to order. In 2004, Danny received a phone call from Ozzy Osbourne, which had a profound impact on his life. Danny was able to bring Ozzy's dream of a customized motorcycle to life. In addition to shimmering paint and bat-themed decorations, the bike was just fantastic. It garnered attention on a national scale and brought Count's Customs to limelight. As time went on, the shop expanded even further. As of the year 2010, it was no longer merely a store. That was the beginning of Danny's brand. One of his businesses was a tattoo parlor, another was a rock club called Count's Vow, and he even began selling product. Count's Customs grew into a workshop that was 30,000 square feet in size and employed more than 50 people, demonstrating that Danny's passion had developed into something that was much larger than he had ever dreamed. Danny Koker's rise to popularity began on July 19, 2009, in a manner that was completely unexpected. After making his debut on Pawn Stars, he evaluated a 1968 Mustang GT Fastback. This was his first appearance on the show. At the time, he was already well known in the community, and he was the proprietor of Count's Customs, a car and motorbike shop established in Las Vegas. Someone who had a deep understanding of historic automobiles was what the proprietor of the pawn shop, Rick Harrison, was looking for. There was an instant connection between Danny's charisma and his expertise, and the audience adored him. As a result of his appearances in 23 episodes of Pawn Stars over the course of 3 years, he became a fan favorite. As a result of his appearances as the host of a horror movie show on the local television station, he became known as the Count. But after his second visit, everything came dangerously close to breaking down. He and Rick had a disagreement about the worth of a Chevrolet Bel Air from 1957. The situation became so hot that Danny left the set, and the producers had to intervene in order to get things back under control. Later on, Rick made a personal phone call to Danny and assured him that he would be able to have greater control over his roles on the show. Because of this, their problems were resolved, and the banter they exchanged on TV became something that spectators enjoyed. In June of 2011, the concept for Counting Cars was conceived. There was a producer from Left Field Pictures named Brent Montgomery who was in town to film for Pawn Stars. He was visiting Count's Customs. While Danny was negotiating the purchase of a rare 1970 Plymouth Superbird, he passed by. Danny demonstrated his enthusiasm for automobiles by making an immediate offer of $75,000. In Montgomery's opinion, this would be an excellent show for television. The first episode of Counting Cars was shown on the History Channel on August 13, 2012. As Danny and his team purchased, refurbished, and sold historic automobiles and motorbikes, the show chronicled their activities alongside them. The show was distinguished by the fact that it detailed every stage of the process, beginning with Danny's discovery of a car and ending with the unveiling of the vehicle once it had been repaired. The first episode brought everything full circle by showcasing the restoration of a 1968 Mustang Fastback, which was the same kind of automobile that he appraised on Pawn Stars. There were 3.1 million people that watched it, which is significantly more than the average ratings for the History Channel. As a result of the success, an order was placed for additional episodes, and production began only 2 weeks after that. Man, everywhere you go, it's like I'm turning rocks over. I am digging in the backyards of various people. I am looking through the garage door. I am perpetually going on, continually going on. It didn't take long for the show to become one of the most watched programs on the History Channel. The show had an average of 2.9 million viewers for each episode by the time the first season came to a close. On occasion, it even outperformed Pawn Stars, which was the show that served as the parent program. In the year 2014, Counting Cars has been exhibited in a total of 150 countries. A. Harrison, Rick, indeed you are familiar with him. It is the reality show Pawn Stars that he is a part of. we were able to extend a warm greeting to Rick in Erie and inquire about his thoughts on the explosion, also translated into 38 different languages. With an average of 1.5 million viewers throughout each episode, it quickly became the most popular American reality show in Germany. The popularity of the play resulted in some unanticipated consequences. The Las Vegas Police Department recorded a 37% rise in the number of vintage automobile thefts in 2015. The individuals believed that criminals were motivated to target the particular automobiles that were highlighted in the show. Danny even had to caution people who own cars to exercise additional caution. Also contributing to the show's success was Danny's one-of-a-kind appearance. He sported a beard, long hair, and a wardrobe that was entirely black and adorned with skull pattern. He was not only a television personality, it demonstrated his passion for rock music, and he is 77 years old. His rocker attitude, his understanding of automobiles, and his commercial acumen were all things that his fans admired. An investigation conducted in 2016 revealed that the majority of people followed the show because they loved Danny's personality. Additionally, Danny possessed a few amusing peculiarities. He was under the impression that a leather jacket that he had owned since 1989 brought him good fortune when it came to purchasing automobiles. Not only did he never wash it, but it also included a pocket that was sewed with more than $10,000 for impromptu purchases. It was on November 5, 2013 that Danny experienced a situation that exemplified his generous heart. After the death of a Vietnam veteran, he brought back to life a 1981 Corvette that had been in his possession. In the midst of the revelation, Danny shed tears as he presented the car to the widow of the soldier. He was so affected by the gesture. This particular episode garnered 4.3 million viewers, making it the most watched episode in the whole history of the show. When it comes to achieving success, Danny Koker has relied on a combination of hard work, ingenuity, and passion. As a result of the success of his show Counting Cars, his company, Counts Customs, experienced rapid expansion. By the year 2018, the shop had grown from its humble beginnings as a 7,000 square foot area to its current enormous configuration of 40,000 square feet. Because of this expansion, Danny was able to take on tasks that were also more exciting. As of the year 2020, his crew of more than 50 talented workers was able to finish 75 custom builds annually, when prior to the presentation, they had only completed a few. Customers were willing to wait up to 18 months for his one-of-a-kind design and were willing to pay a high price for his hallmark product. The shop's annual revenue had increased to almost $15 million by the year 2019, which was a significant increase from the $500,000 it had made in its first year of operation. Danny also began selling products with the Counts Customs brand, which included clothing and accessories. In addition to this accomplishment, a further $3 million was added to the company's annual revenue by the year 2021. There was more to Danny than that. Beginning in 2017, he began selling rare car parts for classic restorations, which eventually accounted for 20% of the shop's revenue by the year 2022. In order to establish his shop as a frontrunner in the industry, he even began instructing workshops and providing new employees with training in automobile restoration. Because of Danny's abilities, he was able to attract notable customers who wanted his unique touch to be applied on their automobile. He was engaged by Ozzy Osbourne in 2016 to design and build a one-of-a-kind helicopter. At a cost of more than $150,000, it was finished after a period of 6 months. The motorcycle was a work of art since it included bat wings that were hand-painted and a strong engine that was 124 cubic inches. In 2018, NBA superstar LeBron James approached Danny with a request to repair a Chevrolet Bel Air from the year 1957. This undertaking took 8 months to complete and featured a sound system of the highest caliber, in addition to a purple and gold interior that was influenced by the Los Angeles Lakers. Car magazines paid a lot of attention to the vehicle, which had a value of more than $500,000. During the year 2020, Danny was involved in a significant undertaking for the Las Vegas Mob Museum. The 5 vintage Cadillacs that he refurbished were outfitted with bulletproof glass and concealed compartments precisely like the ones that were utilized by mobsters in the 1960s and 1970s. A 2-hour television special was produced out of the $2.5 million effort, which garnered a lot of attention. Nicolas Cage, Tim McGraw, and Shaquille O'Neal are just a few of the well-known people that have hired Danny as a client. One of the most difficult undertakings he had ever undertaken was a repair of John Lennon's psychedelic 1965 Rolls-Royce Phantom 5 that he finished in 2022. The restoration cost him $1 million. It took 2 years to complete the work, and it required the discovery of uncommon components from 3 distinct continents. Danny established Count's Vamp Rock Bar and Grill in the city of Las Vegas in the year 2012. Music and automobile enthusiasts quickly made the bar their go-to hangout area. The walls were covered with rare rock memorabilia, and the roof was adorned with vintage motorcycles that were suspended from the ceiling. The fact that the club had live music on each and every night during its first year of operation helped it to stand out among the bustling entertainment scene in Las Vegas. Through the year 2015, Danny had enlarged the facility by incorporating a large outside patio that featured a stage as well as a revolving display of historic automobiles from his collection. It was because of this that the pub was able to stage events such as Rocktoberfest, which attracts more than 10,000 spectators annually. Count's Custom Brew is a brand of craft beers that was created by Danny in 2018 in collaboration with a brewery. These beers are available in bars and stores all around the state of Nevada. By 2022, the bar had brought in more than $8 million annually, had more than 500 concerts annually, and had 75 employees working there. Additionally, Danny, who has always had a passion for music, launched a band in 2013 under the name Counts 77. He took over as the lead singer, and he was accompanied by a group of outstanding musicians from Las Vegas. Their debut album, which was released in 2014, featured a hard rock sound that was influenced by the 1970s. On the Billboard Hard Rock chart, the album Counts 77 reached position number 26, and the band's track My Detroit had a significant amount of airplay on the radio. The band embarked on their first national tour in 2016, during which they played 50 performances across the United States and earned more than $2 million. Their second album, Soul Transfusion, was released in 2017, and it was even more successful than their first album, hitting number 15 on the hard rock ranking on the Billboard chart. On the mainstream rock chart, their smash song Summer of '77 reached number 22 after climbing to that position. The band performed at major events such as Rocklahoma in 2018, where they showcased their talents in front of a crowd of 40,000 spectators. By the year 2022, the band had already recorded 4 albums, had sold more than 500,000 records, and had even begun an annual Counts Rock Cruise, which provides fans with the opportunity to watch them and other legendary rock bands perform on a magnificent ship. Because the cruise was so well liked, it was completely booked up months in advance. The life that Danny Koker led behind the scenes of Counting Cars was not at all like the glamorous image that audiences saw on television. When the episode first aired on August 13, 2012, it gained a lot of attention almost immediately. But Danny's reality was a lot more challenging. He worked up to 18 hours a day, and there were instances when he went weeks without taking a single day off. By 2015, the signs of stress had begun to appear. After only 3 months, he had lost 35 pounds, and those who were close to him became concerned about him. It was excruciating for him to manage both the performance and his business, which was called Counts Customs. During an interview in 2018, Danny said that he had to turn down approximately 37 custom jobs every month due to the fact that he was filming. His shop lost roughly $4.8 million annually as a result of this, which made the strain even more intense. However, the difficulties did not end there. When it came to the show's contrived drama, Danny frequently found himself in conflict with the producers. Things reached a boiling point on March 3, 2019, when producers ordered him to act as if he was having a disagreement with a client. After becoming frustrated, Danny left the set, which resulted in the production being halted for 3 days and resulting in losses of $180,000. Additionally, the show had an impact on Danny's personal life at the same time. As a result of filming, he was unable to attend 8 significant family events, one of which being the wedding of his nephew. He revealed in a podcast that he was feeling lonely as a result of it in the year 2020. Despite this, Danny continued to be dedicated to his shop. In 2021, he invested $2.3 million in the enhancement of Count's custom, despite the fact that this caused him to experience an increase in stress in the world of bespoke automobiles. This summer is going to be sizzling. Over the course of the week, I was able to catch up with the Count, who is currently in the process of preparing for a new season. However, he was also plagued by legal issues. A couple filed a lawsuit against Count's Customs in 2014, stating that they had paid $11,000 for a 1967 Ford Mustang and $39,000 for restoration work, but they had never received the vehicle. The lawsuit was filed for $50,000. To make matters even more difficult, their attorney disclosed that an employee had made a guarantee that their vehicle would be featured on the show, and even offered to provide free improvements worth $20,000 to the vehicle. The media went into a frenzy as a result of this, with over 27 different news outlets covering the event. The situation became more serious in 2017 when Count's Customs accused a former employee named Joseph Frontera of stealing $75,000. Using company funds, he allegedly purchased a Range Rover and plane tickets, which resulted in the shop being subject to a penalty of $18,000 from the Internal Revenue Service. The hardest blow came in 2021 when 17 former customers filed a lawsuit against the company, claiming that they had been overcharged by as much as 300%. The complaint was filed for $2.7 million. Danny's reputation suffered a damage, and his legal bills accumulated, resulting in a total cost of over $1.2 million by the year 2022. In order to afford the expenses, he even considered selling a portion of his collection of automobiles. In addition, viewers started to question whether or not the show was genuine. Let me know more about this one. It's the car that belongs to my wife. That is a convertible version of the Plum Crazy Carnet 500 by what year? 1970 once more. Plum Crazy, a convertible car worth 70 carnets. 440 automated model. What a lovely creation. During the year 2016, a document that had been stolen disclosed that numerous impromptu situations, such as the discovery of cars, were planned in advance. Within a single month, there was a 32% decrease in online engagement, which led to fans feeling misled. The situation became even more dire in 2018 when a former cast member named Scott Jones asserted that 70% of the drama, including client reactions, was fabricated. During the year 2019, a video that went viral revealed a member of the team placing a sign indicating that the automobile was for sale right before Danny noticed it. This forced the producers to concede that certain aspects of the show were manufactured. During the year 2020, a former customer decided to disclose audio recordings of staff members advising him to seem unhappy during a car unveil. This caused the criticism to increase. Even the History Channel considered cancelling the show as a result of the controversy that it has been causing. Instead, they made the decision to implement more stringent regulations, which call for at least 60% of the information to be authentic. Koker and Danny's marriage were also negatively impacted by the demands of the show. The pair was observed bickering outside of a restaurant in 2017, which sparked rumors that they were having a problem. At the beginning of 2019, Corey acknowledged that it had been 3 years since they had taken a vacation together, and she stated that she felt like a TV widow. The year 2020 marked the point at which their marriage had reached its breaking point, and Corey filed for divorce, alleging issues that could not be reconciled. The friendship that Danny shared with Kevin Mack, his business partner, was also negatively affected. Kevin reported that they had very little communication outside of work due to the fact that Danny had become so withdrawn and concentrated on the show. Even Danny, who was working on set, was affected by the tension. It was observed by the crew that he was growing increasingly agitated, and on one occasion, following a heated phone discussion with Corey, he refused to leave his trailer. Nevertheless, there was a defining moment. After a poignant talk on Christmas Day 2020, Danny and Corey healed their differences. During the conversation, Danny made a commitment to put their love first. They made the announcement at the beginning of 2021 that they would quit running their rock bar, which was called Counts Vamped, in order to concentrate on their marriage. Danny made the decision to limit the number of episodes for Counting Cars, bringing the total number of episodes every season down from 26 to 16. Danny was able to concentrate on his personal life and health as a result of the decision, which caused some of his followers to feel dissatisfied. The 14th of December 2021 was a day where Counting Cars fans were taken aback. After 10 seasons, the History Channel made a covert announcement that the show will be cancelled. The final episode, which was titled Mustang Madness, had already been shown without anyone being informed that it was the final episode. People were perplexed due to the fact that the show had a large fan base and received positive rating. The 10th season was also shorter than usual, consisting of only 12 episodes rather than the 26 to 30 episode that fans were accustomed to seeing in the previous season. It was completely unknown to everybody that this abbreviated season would be the final one. In addition, the timing was peculiar. Automobile sales increased by 3% in 2021, indicating that the automotive industry was making a full recovery from the epidemic. When the market was showing signs of improvement, it was illogical to cancel a show that centered about automobiles. Counting Cars had become into a fan favorite during the course of its existence. In August of 2012, it began airing, and it lasted for 153 episodes, during which it displayed incredible automotive restorations and bespoke constructions. There were a lot of severe deadlines and difficulties that fans enjoyed, such as when Danny and his team had only 3 days and 3 nights to restore a 1969 Camaro. The fact that they were able to pull it off in some way made the performance more thrilling to watch. Nevertheless, many of the stories were left unresolved when the show came to an end. As an illustration, during the 8th season, Danny had purchased a 1956 Chevrolet Bel Air and pledged to convert it into an excellent vehicle. However, the final conclusion was never shown to the fans. The unexpected cancellation therefore felt much more disheartening and unfinished as a result of this news. In a manner that was not typical of him, Danny the Count Koker remained silent after the entertainment program had concluded. After December 14th, he was silent for a period of 47 days, despite the fact that he enjoyed connecting with his supporters on social media. His final tweet, which was sent out the day before the conclusion of the show, stated that there will be a brand new episode of Counting Cars airing tomorrow night. This is an event that you won't want to miss out on. He was completely unaware that this would be the final episode. The Barrett-Jackson Scottsdale auction, which Danny had been attending annually for the past 8 years, was one of the events that Danny decided to skip. Fans began to express concern. Counts Customs, the business, added another layer of ambiguity to the situation. They erased any and all references to Counting Cars from their website on January 5th, 2022. They did not provide an explanation as to why. The shop was inundated with inquiries from the fan. It was believed by some that Danny was bound by a contract that prevented him from discussing the change in circumstance. Some people was under the impression that he was working on a new show. An unsubstantiated rumor even asserted that he had retired and sold the shop. During this time, memorabilia from the concert became extremely appealing to consumers. On eBay, a jacket that Danny wore in the 3rd season sold for $7,500, which is significantly higher than its typical value. Now, on the 30th of January in the year 2022, Danny finally broke his quiet. On his Instagram account, he shared a picture of himself with a 1957 Chevrolet Bel Air that had been partially restored. The caption stated that although the path that lies ahead may be unpredictable, the journey itself is never complete. Have a good time, my friends. Despite the fact that this post didn't provide any explanation, it gave fans hope that he wasn't finished yet. Despite the fact that the show was cancelled, Counts Custom continued to be successful. When there were no cameras around, Danny and his colleagues were able to concentrate on their trade. The projects that they worked on were larger and more detailed. To give you an example, in March of 2023, they completed the restoration of a 1967 Chevrolet Camaro, which had taken them more than 2,500 hours to complete. It was impossible to complete that kind of work during the presentation because the deadlines were far more stringent. Danny also began restoring rare automobiles, such as a 1954 Mercedes-Benz 300 SL Gullwing, which he started doing in November of 2023. It is anticipated that it will take 18 months to complete for a total cost of $1.5 million. Moreover, the shop began implementing cutting-edge technology. An investment of $250,000 was made in a 3D printer by them in July of 2024. They were able to design custom car parts that were previously difficult to locate because to this, even though they were no longer on television, business continued to improve. Without the burden of filming, Counts Customs witnessed a 30% increase in the number of customers, and the workforce experienced less stress. Additionally, Danny started dealing with clientele that were high-end and exclusive celebrities. He constructed a one-of-a-kind 1969 Mustang for the star, Chris Hemsworth, in the month of April 2024. The interior was fashioned from eucalyptus wood, while the exterior was painted in a style that was reminiscent of Thor. During another job, they restored a Bugatti Type 57 SC Atlantic that was valued at $30 million for a collector. Even more impressively, they began producing motorcycles for members of the royal family, such as the Prince of Monaco, who asked for a personalized motorcycle with gold plating and diamond embellishments. In August of 2024, Danny collaborated with Snoop Dogg to develop a collection of lowriders that were made to order. In under 48 hours, all 10 automobiles were purchased, resulting in millions of dollars. In the year 2024, the shop had its most successful year to date, bringing in $45 million, which was twice as much as they had made in the previous year of the exhibition. Danny was able to demonstrate that he did not require the cameras in order to maintain his position as the leader. He disclosed to everyone that he was suffering from a cardiac condition in the year 2018. This came as a surprise to many people because he usually appeared to be so energized on television. The stress that he experienced as a result of operating his custom vehicle shop and appearing on a television show had a negative impact on his health. He began to experience a number of health problems, including weight gain, but Koker made the decision to make a change. Over the course of his efforts to reduce his weight, he was able to shed 45 pounds. He improved his diet and adopted a more consistent exercise routine. Because of these adjustments, he not only became healthier, but he also experienced an improvement in his mental state. The fact that Koker has emphasized the significance of taking care of oneself has served to motivate his followers. At this point, he appears to be more energized and happy, demonstrating to people that it is never too late to turn things around, regardless of how difficult things may become. When this occurred in 2017, Koker was having a difficult time coping with his addiction. Fans were taken aback when they learned that he had been sentenced to 30 days in jail for the legal difficulties he had gotten himself into. In this particular case, controlled narcotics were implicated, as was a former employee of Counts Customs. Rather than trying to avoid this, Koker was clean about his issues and made the decision to make some changes in his life. He began making efforts to remain sober and sought assistance from his family, friends, and experts while he was doing so. In addition, Koker started talking about his troubles, which made him more approachable to those who were suffering with issues that were comparable to his own. As time went on, he was able to regain the trust of those who were around him and became a source of encouragement for other people. He now spreads messages of encouragement, letting people know that recovery is achievable if they remain committed to the process and have assistance. After experiencing a setback, his tale demonstrates how perseverance and hard effort may assist in the process of rebuilding your life. When Koker made a significant announcement in 2024, he took everyone by surprise. He announced that he will be departing from counting vehicles in order to devote his full attention to his band, Count 77, for an entire year. Following an extremely successful performance at the Red Rocks Amphitheater in Colorado, this choice was made. During the over 4-hour-long performance, the band entertained a crowd of 9,000 admirers. In particular, the fact that rock luminaries Alice Cooper and Sammy Hagar joined them on stage contributed to the unprecedented popularity of the event. Following this, Koker and the band made the announcement that they will be embarking on a big tour throughout the world called the Grease and Gears Global Takeover. It began on April 1st, 2024 in Tokyo, Japan, with a concert that was anticipated to be attended by 50,000 people. Several of the tracks even featured an entire symphony orchestra, which added a unique element to the rock feel of the tunes. In addition, the stage design was quite stunning, with a car lift that transported a variety of vintage automobiles onto the platform prior to each song. The tour, however, was about more than just music. A new foundation would receive 50% of the income, according to the announcement made by Koker. Through the establishment of this organization, historic American muscle vehicles would be preserved and young people would be taught how to fix them. Koker collaborated with Elon Musk to develop a sustainable fuel for older vehicles as a result of the widespread acclaim that this concept received. During the course of just 1 month, the tour was able to generate more than $100 million in revenue. Koker's passion for music and cars came together in a remarkable way, demonstrating to everyone that a combination of unwavering dedication and perseverance can result in remarkable accomplishments, even in the face of challenging circumstances.